Bitter criticism. Now I have plenty of time because I've erased some movies I got on this cell phone. So now I have 20 gigas just to record. And well, it's recording now. I have news from 5 days ago. I'm on a crisis of internet. I've been without. I have social media, but I don't have the full internet. Understand? I don't have Russia Today. I don't have access to Russia because it's the internet. Understand? I can. My problem is I don't have internet, but in Chile you can access Russia Today. There's no so much problem. You know, maybe Gabriel Boric will ban Russia Today too from internet. I will have to access Russia Today with a VPN. I'm not sure, you know, I'm just giving ideas. Yeah, this stupid president we have here in Chile is the kind of guy will do something like that, you know. If Justin Trudeau, his boyfriend, ask, I'm not homophobic, you know, not homophobic, but I guess Justin Trudeau and Gabriel Boric, they are a couple. They are lovers, you know. They are gay, you know. That's my opinion, but I don't care, you know. I give zero fucks about Gabriel Boric's life. Such a terrible guy. Anyway, Russia will never withdraw troops. Putin, June 20, 2024. Home Russia and former Soviet Union. Ukraine's unrealistic demand is intended to make peace talks impossible. The Russian president had said. We have a photograph. June 20, 2024, Russian President Vladimir Putin, during an approach to representatives of the Russian media at Noi Airport in Hanoi. Sputnik, Kristina Kormilisna. What the hell was that, Tommy? Tommy just farted. Ukraine's demand for the withdrawal of Russian troops is only designed to perpetuate the conflict, because that's the only way the current Kiev government can stay in power. Russian President Vladimir Putin has said. There's a creepy dog someplace, and this is the full moon. The moon is full. And it stopped raining. There's no more clouds. Maybe tomorrow there will be no clouds neither. It's been a bad days for Chilean people, and Chile just can't help them, you know. The state is so neoliberal. We don't have we have a situation here in Brazil too. We have people without homes because of it's cold. The water is inside houses. The level of the sea, of the rivers, everything is just too much. It's just above the heads of the people, like 1 meter or something. And well, states they don't have shelters. States don't have shelters. That's it. Chile, definitely, they don't have shelters. They never build shelters for people. Brazil, I guess there is something. Maybe they got corrupted. Maybe there was money some time ago to build shelters, but and maybe there is shelters, but who knows what happens. There's too much neoliberalism in Rio Grande do Sul too. Chile and Rio Grande do Sul, there's too neoliberal. People suffer a lot, suicide themselves. That's the whole truth about neoliberalism. Putin was speaking at a press conference in Hanoi following his meetings with the leadership of Vietnam on Thursday. Among other topics, he addressed the Ukraine conflict. Putin, quote, "If negotiations are linked to the withdrawal of our troops, about which the Kiev regime dreams, then this will never happen," Putin told the reporters, because the Kiev regime does not want to relinquish power, does not want to hold normal elections according to the Ukrainian constitution. They will forever drag out the ceasefire talks. I guess, yeah. That looks like that's gonna happen. Ukraine. Maybe Ukraine will disappear, and there will be always there will be a Ukrainian claiming for war. That's funny, because that will be the very few Ukrainians in Ukraine, because the Kiev regime does not want to relinquish power, does not want to hold normal elections according to the Ukrainian constitution. They will forever drag out the ceasefire talks. The Russian president added, "This means that Kiev has an interest in our troops remaining there, because they don't want to hold elections. As for attempts to beat back Russian troops from Kharkov," Putin said that Kiev's orders to achieve a victory on the battlefield at all costs will mean it is Ukraine that will suffer. Kharkov, he said, is a tactical operation which Ukraine is trying to portray as strategic. When asked about the Western rejection of the peace terms he offered Ukraine last week, Putin said that it was true to form. Quote, "I expected just such a reaction at first," he said. "What happens later, time will tell. It all depends on how the situation develops on the ground." It's been 5 days since this news. Putin was in North Korea. Maybe social media there's a lot of garbage in Western social media, and maybe the garbage social media is also delayed. The matter of the fact is, Putin was kind of apprehensive, I guess, in North Korea. I was listening to a podcast about it. He was saying that, of course, North Korea will be very receptive, very hospitable to Putin, but that's it. The truth is, there are two countries punished for centuries, for the last century, a lot of decades, for many decades, for the imperialism. There are global South countries suffering. So I think it's the best thing for both. Look, I have a North Korea, so yeah, my jacket, my flag. I hope the best for North Korea. And well, I guess I have news here for details. This my journal is too delayed. Russia has always been willing to negotiate while Ukraine and its Western backers sabotage the Minsk process and the Istanbul talks, Putin said, noting that the terms he outlined will not be valid forever. According to the Russian president, Ukraine has to recognize Russian sovereignty over the entire territory of Donetsk and Lugansk People's Republics, as well as Kherson and Zaporizhia regions, as defined by their administrative borders. At the time they joined Ukraine in August 1991, Kiev must withdraw its military from the four regions and inform Moscow in writing that is no longer plans to join NATO before any ceasefire talks can begin, Putin said last Friday. Vladimir Zelensky has denounced the proposal as an ultimatum, insisting that the only way to end the conflict is based on his peace formula, which amounts to a Russian surrender. NATO Secretary General NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg claimed that Putin's offer was not made in a good faith and will cost Kiev significantly more land, while German Chancellor Olaf Scholz called it a classical land grab and an attempt to influence the peace conference in Switzerland. My dogs are missing. My only dog now is Tommy, but I guess they are fine. Nobody's on the streets because of the cold weather and because of the I guess Chileans are junkies. They can't think so well. There's no more rain. They are afraid of because of the rain. They never seen a rain before, so that's it. They are afraid about the rain. And Chileans, they got, as they are neoliberal people, they are always too emotional, just like Americans. Americans are very, very emotional, sensationalist. I would say Pepe Escobar is also an American citizen, sensationalist again, like Brazilians too. And well, these Chilean people, I guess they just cannot be at home, they cannot relax at home and, I don't know, read a book, read a news. They have internet. I am poorer than them. I guess I'm, how to say it? I forgot the word. Well, all Chileans have internet and I am an exception, yeah. But I come here, there's nobody here, nobody came here. I'm alone. It's hard to prove, isn't it? I'm here in the middle of nowhere. This is sometimes some Chilean appears here to smoke weed or to do anything. But definitely, you can see by the bus, yeah. But the bus videos that I'm actually in Chile. But these people, they just cannot be at home, And I'm not at home because the neighbors of my block, they hear me, and I don't want it because I talk too loud. They are uncultivated people. They want everybody to be uncultivated. They hate people speaking English, That's it. June 20, 2024, Homeworld News. NATO agrees on new chief. Dutch politician Mark Rutte has secured the consent of all bloc members to replace Jens Stoltenberg. So we have a new white guy. He's also white. Pepe Escobar will say something sensationalist about him. Like he's another piece of wood. Yeah, she looks like a piece of wood. But I don't care. Dutch politician Mark Rutte has secured the consent of all bloc members to replace Jens Stoltenberg. Actually, I like the Netherlands. They looks. Of course, they are not tropical people, but they are happy, I guess. Caretaker Prime Minister of the Netherlands, Mark Rutte, was being tapped to become the next Secretary General of NATO. Well, this is not a good position, I guess. So, yeah, the Netherlands people, they are great, but NATO is not. He will succeed James Stoltenberg, who has led the U.S. the U.S.-led military bloc since 2014. Romanian President Klaus Iohannis had announced his candidacy for the job in March, 6 months after Rutte began his campaign, but notified the bloc on Thursday that he was withdrawing from consideration. Only Hungary had endorsed Iohannis, but Prime Minister Viktor Orban announced on Tuesday that he had reached an agreement with Rutte. Another holdover, Slovakia quickly followed suit. NATO at this point appears to have settled the succession issue before its July summit in Washington, where the bloc will celebrate its 75th anniversary. Rutte is expected to take over his duties on October 2nd. Not everyone has reacted to the news positively. However, I am a hard no on Rutte, said Richard Grenell, former acting head of the U.S. National Intelligence and a confidant of former and possibly future President Donald Trump. The President of the United States in January 2025 will pick the NATO Secretary General, Grenell added. Oh yeah. Anyway, Mark Rutte spent 10 plus years destroying our country. His promises are worthless. He's a pathological liar and a warmongering globalist. Dutch politician commentator Eva Vardingerbroek said following his endorsement by Orban, adding that having him as the Secretary General of NATO means serious trouble for humanity. Rutte's critics have pointed out that in his 14 years of ruling the EU's fifth largest economy, which is the Netherlands, I guess, Rutte's critics have pointed out that in his 14 years of ruling the EU's fifth largest economy, he failed to meet NATO's goal of having military spending account for 2% of the Netherlands' GDP. Likewise, he did not campaign hard in Eastern Europe, where a candidate that is more hawkish on Russia will be preferable. So, what's going on? NATO will be even hawkish. NATO will be even aggressive on Russia, and there will be World War III. Stoltenberg has been the head of the bloc for a decade now. His term was extended 4 times due to disagreements about succession. The Ukraine conflict in 2022 saw his tenure extended through September 2023, which got pushed back again at last year's summit in Vilnius. Meanwhile, Rutte is still the caretaker Prime Minister of the Netherlands. He disbanded the Dutch government last July after his coalition collapsed over immigration policy. The winners of the December 2023 election have not yet managed to form a cabinet. Anyway, more news from Russia today. June 20, home Russia and former Soviet Union. I guess we are 22 now, something. EU country targets more Russians with language rule. Another 5,000 people will have to pass a Latvian exam or face deportation. But they are talking about Russian people, yeah. No assimilation. No assimilation, yeah. File photo, a march in Riga to protest switching tuition language in ethnic minorities schools to Latvian. Almost 5,000 ethnic Russians living in Latvia will have to pass a language exam in order to keep their residency under immigration amendments the parliament adopted on Thursday. The Latvian language requirement previously applied to around 25,000 ethnic Russians residing in the Baltic state, but the Supreme Court of Latvia ruled in February that exempting those who received residency prior to 2003 amounted to unfair privilege. The Saeima, the country's legislature, voted 82 against 10 in favor of the amendments, with 6 lawmakers abstaining. According to the Latvian government, the law will require some 4,949 additional ethnic Russians to pass a language test to remain in the country. People over 75 remain exempt, however. Those Russians who currently have residency permits will lose them by July 15, 2025, unless they submit the necessary paperwork to the Latvian Office of Citizenship and Migration Affairs. Anyone who does not submit proof of a successfully completed language test by the end of October 2025 will lose their residency by November 17. The Baltic state only granted citizenship to ethnic Latvians when it declared independence from the Soviet Union in 1991. As of 2020, there were almost 198,000 non-citizens residing in the country, mostly ethnic Russians, Ukrainians, and Belarusians. Latvia's current population is about 1.8 million. In a 2004 survey, the majority of non-citizens called the naturalization process humiliating and difficult, while Riga has chipped away at the rights of Russian speakers for years. This process accelerated after the outbreak of the Ukraine conflict in 2022. Russian TV channels have been banned, while monuments to Soviet soldiers who drove out Nazi German invaders in World War II have been systematically taken down. In February, Latvia began deporting around 1,000 ethnic Russians who had either failed the language test or did not wish to take it. In April, Riga announced that schools in the country will stop teaching Russian starting in September 2025. Moscow has denounced Latvian policies as well as those of the neighboring Estonia and Lithuania as extremely Russophobic, but said it would not sever diplomatic relations with the Baltic states. As this will leave tens of thousands of ethnic Russians in distress and without any protection. I'm worried about my dogs. They didn't show up. They went in another way, and here I am. But I guess they are fine because there's nobody on the streets. But who knows? You never know. I hope they are fine. More news. June 20, 2024. Homeworld news. U.S. to redirect air defense order to Ukraine. White House. U.S. to redirect air defense orders to Ukraine. I didn't got that. I don't know much about army. Countries waiting for Patriot and NASAMS missiles. NASAMS missiles have been put on hold until Kiev's needs are satisfied. So here we have a beautiful headline. Is all there. I don't know these NASAMS missiles. Fortunately, the US will prioritize deliveries of Patriot and NASAMS missiles to Ukraine or any pending orders from other countries in an effort to shore up Kiev's air defenses, the White House announced it on Thursday. White House National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby told reporters that Kiev is currently in desperate need of additional air defense capabilities as Russia continues to target Ukraine's power grid ahead of the fall and winter. At present, Kiev has at least 4 Patriot systems provided by the US and Germany. Late last month, the Netherlands launched a joint initiative to deliver one more air defense battery to Ukraine, calling on several other nations to donate separate constituent parts, while Spain, Greece, Romania, and Poland have Patriots at their disposal. They have so far refused to donate them to Kiev. Yeah, donation is... They will lose the... I don't know what is a Patriot, you know? It's like... I guess it's like... it's a device, like the photo. Maybe this is a Patriot, look. I'm not sure what is a Patriot. Maybe that's a Patriot, you know? The whole system, you know? I'm not sure. But yeah, as... Well, this is so sad for the world that the army industry is just improving. You know, the only progress is the weapon industry, the military industry. Ukraine's Vladimir Zelensky has asked Western backers to deliver at least 7 more Patriot units amid an intensified Russian bombardment of Ukrainian cities in recent months. The financial system reported on Thursday that Ukraine's demand for interceptor missiles will take precedence until the country has enough to defend itself from Russia's air attacks. The original story suggested that all other orders, both for Patriot launchers and ammunition, will be halted. However, its authors later amended the article to say the restrictions will only affect missiles. The newspaper noted that Poland, Romania, and Germany all have open orders with American manufacturers for Patriot systems, with a separate outstanding contract for 1,000 missiles placed by a group of NATO member states back in January. On Tuesday, Switzerland's Blick newspaper reported that the US had delayed the scheduled delivery of Patriot interceptor missiles to the country, citing the Ukraine conflict as a force majeure, which allows for the contract to be altered. The Swiss military later confirmed that the report was true. Speaking at a joint press conference with Zelensky on the sidelines of the G7 summit in Italy last Thursday, President Biden said countries that are expecting U.S. air defense systems will have to wait. The U.S. head of state explained that everything we have is going to go to Ukraine until their needs are met. So we have more 17 minutes And we have more news from Russia Today, which is this from 4 days ago, I guess. Western property, June 20, home Russian former Soviet Union. Western property could be seized, Moscow. Russia retains a wide arsenal of countermeasures in the event that its assets are seized in the West, the Foreign Ministry has warned. Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova, or Zakharova, who knows? I guess you say Zakharova in Portuguese and Spanish, but in Russia you say Zakharova in Russian. Russia has a wide arsenal of political and economic countermeasures to respond to the potential confiscation of its sovereign assets, including a Tier 4 tat, a seizure of Western property in Russia. Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova has said. The leaders of the group of seven G7 nations agreed at last week's summit in Apulia, Italy, to use interest from frozen Russian assets to secure a $50 billion loan for Kiev. So yeah, this is not how the financial system should work, you know. This interest, the interest is part of the capital, you know. It's on the contracts. Anyway, so yeah, I guess you cannot trust in the West anymore, you know. You cannot leave your money in the bank, you know. Zakharova pointed out that Russia has a significant amount of Western funds and property under its jurisdiction. Quote: all of it may be subject to Russian retaliatory policy and retaliatory actions. The arsenal of political and economic countermeasures is wide, she told reporters at a regular press briefing on Wednesday. Russia, however, will not disclose the nature of the retaliatory actions, Zakharova added. G7 countries have approved in principle a U.S. plan to provide Ukraine with a $50 billion loan issued against frozen Russian assets to help Kiev buy weapons and rebuild damaged infrastructure. The idea is to use nearly $500 billion in Russian sovereign funds frozen in the West in the wake of the Ukraine conflict in 2022 as the basis for the loan. G7 countries would use profits from the assets to cover the debt interest. Most of the frozen assets are being held in the U.S. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said recently that the profits earned from the immobilized Russian assets amounts to around $3 to $5 billion per year. The G7 intends to distribute the funds through multiple channels, directing them to Ukraine's military general budget and reconstruction needs. These agreements, however, remain among the U.S. and its allies as to who will carry the loan risks if the Western governments lose control over the Russian assets. No, you know, yeah, I will make a brief comment here. You know, if you study war in general, wars in the past, this is a very how to say, it's a very complex situation. It's a very because, you know, there was back in 10 years ago, the world was connected, there was globalization, you know, the market system was working very well as ever before, you know. And well, what happened in war is that there's no more relations. That's it. The war started and is over. You know, if you lose something in the other side, forget about it. You know. So Yeah, Russia had some money, some assets in the West. They're still shipping oil from a third-party country, but the truth is is happening a war, and if the war is total war, not just a proxy war in Ukraine, it's so sad, but the capital should be in the past, and definitely the West will use everything they can use to destroy Russians and vice versa. So that's how wars are happen. That's how war happens across the history. So it's not doesn't matter what you lost. You will lose your life. You will lose your people. You understand? You will lose your family, everything, your land. You will die. Understand? So the Russian assets, well, is a minor. Is a minor. If it will be a total war, forget about it. Forget about democracy and monetary systems. These agreements, however, remain among the US and its allies as to who will carry the loan risks. If Western governments lose control over the Russian assets. Moscow has repeatedly said it will treat any attempt to tap into them as theft and will retaliate. Yeah, I guess it what they should do. Yeah, I guess that's fine because it's capital and because this is a call for peace. Yeah, believe it or not, if Russia says forget about it, I will kill you all, that's not peaceful. But if Russia says, hey, keep my money there, is mine. I want peace, I want to use that money to buy white flags of peace. That's it. So they want peace, they want to keep alive, they want to keep trading, they don't want war. That's it. June 20, I guess I'm not gonna read this because it's too specific. UK Labour Party ditches candidates for sharing Russia Today content. Oh no, it's interesting. Look, UK Labour Party ditches candidate for sharing Russia Today content in 2018. So what about Labour Party in UK? So sad. June 20, 2024, Homeworld News. So I cannot be part of Labour Party because I'm reading Russia Today. I have a channel on YouTube. The shadow chancellor says a party member was kicked out for non-sharing our values. Well, the UK Labour Party has suspended one of its parliamentary candidates just 2 weeks before the general election after senior members were made aware of his apparent sharing of Russia Today content 6 years ago on his social media. Andy Brown is campaigning to represent the Aberdeenshire North and Moray East constituency, North East Scotland. The party's decision to remove him was reported on Tuesday by the Press and Journal, a local newspaper, and has since become a national news story. The post that got Brown in trouble related to the 2018 Salisbury poisoning case, which the British government claimed to be a Russian assassination attempt on Sergei Skripal, a defector spy. The politician reportedly shared a link to a Russia Today article, which questioned London's narrative as well. I'm going to tell you something about London's narrative, as well as a social media post suggesting that then Prime Minister Theresa May was hiding vital information about the incident. You know, I started to reading single articles on the bus, or even here one, the last one. YouTube asked my ID. YouTube asked my ID. That would be a great headline, because nobody watch my videos anyway. So if I say YouTube asked my ID, that's censorship. That could be jail for me if I go to a global north country, a NATO, to the NATO stand. Who knows? Yeah, I'm gonna be a martyr. Brown has claimed in an interview with the BBC that he did not share the post, and that his account may have been corrupted at some point. He rejected the suggestion that he may have forgotten sharing them. Labour Party bosses were also spoked by another post apparently shared by Brown, which question claims that anti-Semitism was widespread in the Labour Party, the Scottish newspaper said. The allegation was instrumental in the ouster of Jeremy Corbyn, a vocal pro-Palestinian figure, as Labour Party leaders. His whip in Parliament was later removed by his successor, Keir Starmer, meaning effective expulsion from the party. Commenting on the Andy Brown case, Labour's shadow chancellor Rachel Reeves told Sky News on Wednesday, quote, I hadn't learned of this guy until this morning. I'm very, very pleased that I will hopefully not have to hear of him again, because he is being suspended as a Labour candidate. She added that, unlike Corbyn, Starmer takes swift action when people misbehave. Swift action when people misbehave. People who do not share our values in the changed Labour Party get kicked out, Reeves stressed. What the hell, isn't it? So yeah, I guess UK is terrible because they're always trying to destroy Russia, and not even Labour Party is an option for whoever don't want a World War III. Although he has been deselected, Brown can still stand as a candidate for the election on July 4th. Paper ballots will still carry his original description and a Labour logo, according to the British press. If elected, he will be an independent Prime Minister, not unlike Corbyn, who is running to represent the constituency of Islington North. The UK banned Russia Today from broadcasting in March 2022, after the Ukraine conflict escalated into open hostilities. Well, broadcasting, I'm not sure if UK banned the newspaper like me, I'm reading now. Not sure. Anyway, I have to do my yoga. I'm not sure if I have music here. I guess not. So it's just yoga. And then Tommy. You know what? I don't believe in yoga. I guess I'm doing I guess this is not yoga, but this is new. But you know, this is good for later when I try to decompress my body, and I achieve this by doing this, understand? So is Tommy, so stupid, this American dog. Stop. I have to always say stop, Tommy. Tommy! You know, my opinion, I guess Russian and Americans, they are very similar. They are kind of too tough, too aggressive, you know, and that's what they are. Just like this dog, too aggressive, too stupid. So much trouble, making a lot of troubles, always fighting. Well, and that's it. So I guess the war is better. The world is better than Russian and Americans, I guess. Who knows? I guess I'm going to. I was looking some pictures from Paris, from the Louvre, and well, it's so beautiful. I guess it's something like that. The best thing is a good palace, actually. I'm not sure if it is a palace or the world is better.